Thank you for joining me. I am everybody's favorite prodigal bastard. My name is Derek, and of course this is addictMMA. I'll never get used to the reverse angle when I'm watching this shit on the programming there. Anyway, hey, listen. We're here to break down UFC 262, May 15th, this weekend, and what a huge fucking fight card it's going to be. So, do yourself a favor. Pour whatever it is you want to drink into a glass, sit down with me, take a sip, and let's go through some fight predictions on the main card for UFC 262, which again, May 15th, this weekend. And just real quick, you know, this is an old addictMMA staple here. This is what I've done for years, and this is what got me to places I've never been before and had the greatest time of my life. So I'm very happy to bring to you one of my first prediction videos in a long time. So let's do it. And first on the card, of course, in typical UFC fashion, they're going to start it out really good. They're going to start it out with a bang, with a hell of a good fight. And in this fight, we've got Shane Burgos taking on the veteran Edson Barbosa. Now, this fight in the featherweight division, it's going to be a very competitive fight. Unfortunately, Edson Barbosa, I think, really needs this win. Like, I say unfortunately because in the last few years, you know, I think all the way back stemming to 2017, Edson Barbosa, out of his last 7 fights, has lost 5 of them. So his last fight is a win, and he's looking for back-to-back wins for the first time in over 4 years, 5 years almost. But I'm just going to be honest with you. Not going to happen at UFC 262, not for Edson Barbosa. We might be looking at him to kind of get his pink slip and be on his way pretty soon, because I'm telling you what, Shane Burgos is no slouch, and in fact, he's very well-rounded. A lot of Edson Barbosa's fights will end in a decision, and for the casual fan, what does that mean? It just means, hey, they've got well-rounded skills. Edson Barbosa is known for his kicks. And nowadays with dudes just kicking the shit out of each other and breaking their legs like Weidman did just the other night, a couple of weeks back, and we're talking about Anderson Silva that did the same exact thing years ago, and you're seeing more nowadays. The calf kick is coming into play rather than dudes trying to fucking actually kick the shins or the knees or the thighs almost, because they don't want to kick up to the upper leg because dudes are checking these kicks, and that side of your knee bone is like a goddamn baseball bat. So anyway, I digress on that subject. I just think that's why we're seeing a lot more calf kicks nowadays, because instead of kicking the bones, these dudes are working the meat of the leg where the power and the ability, the stability comes from. And when you're generating power, it's coming from the earth and shit. You know what I mean? It's you and the earth pushing back on each other, hips and ass. There's a whole bunch of stuff. It's science. That's why these guys are professionals, and we're just talking about it. But Shane Burgos, man, this dude is wild. And he's so well-rounded, so fucking well-rounded. At 13-2, 5 of those are by way of knockout, 5 of those are by way of submission. This dude's a fight finisher, and he's hungry. He hasn't had his last fight in probably about a year. I think it was COVID shut everything down, and a lot of the gyms in his area were shut down, and he's finally been able to get back. You know, this past year, I think August or September, I think they said. I don't exactly remember. I watched the whole interview, but he's been back in the gym as much as he could finally. And this is the first fight he's been allowed to have back because of, you know, he's been able to properly train with his team. So he's primarily a kickboxing dude. He's got well-rounded ground game though. That's don't sleep on his shit. But Edson Barbosa might. Edson Barbosa might be foolish enough to pull himself into just a stand-up war with Shane Burgos, and that's kind of what you and I want, and that's probably what's going to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and give this one to Shane Burgos. Listen, the dude is sick in the clinch, and he can throw knees. I mean, standing up, he can throw knees as high as you're standing while he's clinching you, not even really pulling your neck down that much. Like, this dude is limber, and he's powerful. He's precision strikes. I love the way he's able to feint low and then come across high and just tag a dude right in the proper spot, right in the mush, you know what I mean? And then he'll work that body, too. He'll feint high and go low, and he's just so well-versed in his dynamic of striking, which angle he can come from. He's very good at picking his angles and creating angles. And I don't think this is going to be a run-through. I think this is going to be a very competitive fight. I think it's going to be, you know, a really great fight to start off the night. But I'm going with Shane Burgos on this one. Shane Burgos maybe gets a submission out of this one. I mean, because he's going to take some shit from Edson Barbosa, and eventually he's probably not going to want to. He's probably not going to want to stay up there all the time. And once they get into that clinch or whatever, I can imagine Shane Burgos might want to actually maybe see what he can do on the ground and maybe work for one of those chokes that he's always getting. So we'll see, but I'm liking Shane Burgos on this one. Moving on to the next fight, we have what's not going to be the most exciting fight of the night, guys. I'm sorry, there's going to be some people out there that don't enjoy what I have to say about this one. But I'm only telling the truth as a fight fan. Listen, now I've come up with some of these dudes in the gyms back in the day. I'm not a fighter. I'm more of like a volunteer punching bag at this point, you know. I learned a couple of things. Of course, you're going to learn some shit while you're in there. But I am by no means a fighter. But I just want to say to any fighter that I'm upsetting for what I'm about to say here, listen, it's no disrespect. It's just that this is not going to be the most exciting fight on the card. Thank goodness it's only the second one. They wouldn't start out the fight card that way, because that'd be a horrible way to start it out. That's why they're giving it to Burgos and Barbosa, because that's a hell of a way to start out a fight card on a main card. But Katlyn Chookagian versus Viviane this is a tough one for me. Araujo. I like this fight. I like this fight personally. I'm just saying it's not going to be an exciting fight. This is going to be the most boring fight on the card. But both women are very great, and if Katlyn Chookagian can pull this victory off this weekend, she's putting herself right in line for a title fight. But then again, at the women flyweight division, it's not like it's easy. You know what I'm saying? So, listen, all the champions of the women divisions, who you got to deal with, but none of the best. Rose Namajunas, you move up, you got the Terminator Shevchenko, you move up, you got the other Terminator, fucking Amanda Nunes. Like, I'm sorry, Katlyn, but no matter what weight class you're in, it's just going to be a bad day for you, because all the women you got to fight are fight finishers, and they're intelligent, fight science. Katlyn Chookagian is very good on her feet. She's very well-rounded. She's got good takedown defense, whatever. But she's just kind of a boring fighter. I guess that's the only way to say it. I don't mean any disrespect, but it is disrespectful. She's a boring fighter. Most of her fights come by way of decision. She's 15-4. But, you know, who has she fought? Anybody that you know about? Only the one she lost against. You know, I think she's already lost to Shevchenko once, so we already know how that's going to go. If she ever has to do that again, that's why she's probably at flyweight, right? So, Viviane Araujo seems to me to be very good competition for Katlyn Chookagian. Now, again, if Chookagian can win, she'll be in line for a title fight. But Viviane is she's very good boxing, and she's very good at setting boxing up for wrestling takedowns. She's very dominant. She's very aggressive with her takedowns. She's good on the ground. She knows how to control people. She's got a good little compact frame there, so she stays in tight, and she just pop, 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 and then boom, takedown. She gets you thinking up here, and then boom, she's dumping you on your head with a double leg, and you're on your back, and that scores points, and I believe she could do that. On paper, I would think probably Katlyn Chookagian wins this fight simply because she's got the in UFC experience, more fights in the UFC, and against top competitors, you know, more so than Viviane Araujo. However, fuck it, man. I like Viviane Araujo. I'm taking Viviane Araujo is a very tough name for me to pronounce. I am taking Viviane Araujo in the second fight of the night. Now, fight number 3, that'll be a good fight. But this is a style versus style. It's almost identical in a sense, and I'm looking forward to it. You've got up-and-coming Matt Schnell. Matt Schnell is taking on Rogerio Bontorin. These guys are virtually, as old Goldie used to say, virtually identical. 15-5 and 16-3. I mean, these guys have basically had almost the same amount of fights. They have the same kind of accolades. Okay, so Matt Schnell, a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, very dangerous guy, loves to fight and stand and fight. But 8 of his wins come by submission, so he's very good at working himself into that submission. And a lot of times he'll get them chokes, too. A lot of arm bars with this guy, I believe, as well. 5 fights that he's lost, though, this is the hindrance, 3 of them by knockout. So Rogerio Bontorin, also up and coming in this division, he's got 11 wins by submission. So he's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Both of these guys are basically going to be identical on the ground. They might go there. They'll probably go down there, and I would say Matt Schnell wants to keep this fight probably standing, even though he doesn't necessarily win fights with standing up a whole bunch. You know, he gets knocked out pretty quickly, and Rogerio Bontorin is no slouch. He will put it on him. He will knock somebody out. But both of these guys are guys that will find their submission moves to end the fight and get the victory. So, I mean, nowadays you got to keep in mind that everybody's so well-rounded. Just because one guy or the other guy is a purple or black belt in just jiu-jitsu doesn't mean that they don't know how to throw them things. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody has to train at everything nowadays. That's why it's mixed martial arts. And as the sport's evolved over the years, you'll notice that even guys that have one major discipline are still very good. I mean, GSP is the greatest example of a guy who didn't wrestle before MMA and then ended up being one of MMA's best wrestlers, especially when he was on top and as a champion. But in this fight, I don't know what to say, man. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun because there's a good chance that these guys are not going to necessarily want to test their ground skills too much against each other, because a lot of the times that'll happen. You know what I mean? When you got 2 guys that are really great at one thing, they don't tend to want to put that against each other. Same happened with Cameron Usman and Colby Covington, because both are such great, dominant wrestlers. Neither one of them really wanted to test that against each other, because you get yourself worn out, and then and if you lose, your pride is gone. So this could end up just being a stand-up war, and if that's how it goes, I'm taking Rogerio Bontorin on this one. I think I would probably take him all around. Matt Schnell is very aggressive. He's very fun to watch. I really enjoy watching him. I just think for the way this fight looks, to me, I would take Rogerio on this fight. And now we move on to the co-main event. This is where shit starts to get really interesting. So, let me go ahead and remind myself to bring up the image so that you know who I'm talking about. Tony Ferguson coming back, goddammit, looking for a win. Tony Ferguson needs a win. I mean, we all know he lost against Gaethje in the interim championship fight, which fucking blew all of our minds. None of us saw that coming. The way that Gaethje was able to basically just put a kibosh on every fucking aspect of Tony Ferguson's abilities and just beat him. Stupid. I couldn't believe it. None of us could. And then he went on to fight who's in the main event of this fight card, to UFC 262, Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira, we'll talk about that in a second, but Charles Oliveira ran roughshod over Tony Ferguson. Just completely outclassed him. It was a horrible display for Tony Ferguson, let's be honest. And this is not the Tony Ferguson we're used to seeing in the cage. He really needs this win. He really does. I mean, even if he loses this fight, I'm sure that, he'll still have a contract with the UFC. I'm sure we'll see him one more time at least. If they gave Tyron Woodley 4 chances, goddammit, they better give Tony Ferguson like 15. You know what I'm saying? Like, because he's just awesome, and he always comes to fight. Always. Man, he's taking on a dude that I really enjoy watching on the comeuppance, and that's Beneil Dariush. I really enjoy Beneil Dariush, man. And I think it's going to be Beneil's night. I really do. Beneil Dariush, dude, he's a fucking black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's a black belt in Muay Thai, man. Like, this dude has got heart. He's got fucking power. He's got control. He's so good at everything he does, man. He's just so good. And I love watching this guy. And unfortunately, I think that Tony Ferguson now, I think he'll come in hungry. He always does. He always does. And I think he'll, early on, he'll score some pretty good shots that'll probably rattle Beneil Dariush. But the thing that I like about Beneil is that he'll just, like Tony Ferguson used to, eat it. You know what I mean? But at some point, I guess people just don't take it like they used to. I don't know. But I'm just saying, based on the accolades, based on the abilities, just based on the way things have been going, Beneil Dariush is on the comeuppance. Tony Ferguson, he's kind of on a decline right now, and I think it stays that way. I really do. I think we see a really fun fucking competitive fight, but I think once again we're all gonna be left going, what the fuck, Tony Ferguson? This is not the guy we're used to watching fight. I think that Beneil Dariush is gonna stop him. That's what I think is gonna happen. I know a lot of people don't like to hear that. I don't like to say it. I am a Tony Ferguson fan. I just believe that Beneil Dariush is going to pull out a victory at UFC 262, and I think a lot of us, again, are going to be very disappointed that Tony Ferguson isn't able to perform the way we're used to seeing him. That's just my opinion, though. My prediction, though, it is for Beneil Dariush. And now, for the main event. This thing is going to be a fucking instant classic, dude. This is going to be... I can't believe what a great fight this is going to be. I swear to God, this is going to be the fight of the night. It's got to be. It has to be. It's going to be. I don't give a shit about the up-and-comers on the prelims. I don't care about Tony Ferguson, Beneil Dariush. I don't care about everybody else. I'm telling you that this fight, the main event in the lightweight division between Charles Cowboy Oliveira and motherfucking Michael Chandler, that's the fight. Right there. Highlight reel. Instant classic. This is the one we're paying for. That's why it's the main event. And it has title fight implications. And if you're a fan of Sonny like I am, then we all know it's all about the implication. So, in this fight, very scary for both of these guys. Extremely scary. So scary. The scariest you've ever seen. So huge. Yeah, I had to throw that one on you. Sorry, folks. I know nobody likes the guy, but fuck you. I did it anyway. It's the only impression I got, really, other than a good Russian accent. Anyway, these two guys are going to put on a fucking clinic. Or maybe not. How am I trying to put this, man? It's just going to be so goddamn excited. I'm overwhelmed by the whole thing. We're talking about Charles Oliveira, who's on like an 8 or 9 fight win streak. This dude has been on a fucking tear. And, as I just mentioned a second ago, he ran roughshod over fucking Tony Ferguson. Like, just ran a complete doctor's fucking clinic on him. Just wrote the book and gave it to him and said, now, follow this from now on. Do what I just did. Like, he just fucking outclassed Tony Ferguson in such a way that, I was pulling for Charles Oliveira. Don't get me wrong. I've been watching this guy for a lot of years. I'm a big fan of his. He's lost and won against some of the best in his division. It doesn't matter. Charles Oliveira has been to the show. You know what I'm saying? Like, and now he's getting his shot. If he wins against Michael Chandler, he gets his shot at actually going to the show. Getting the main event, that title fight, which, to be honest with you, in the lightweight division, I believe in Charles Oliveira. I would love to see him as champ. I would love it, dude. He's so great, and I feel like he's just now, like, he's fought for a lot of years, man, but he's reached his fucking level where he just understands it, man, and he's just so good at his craft and the way he's able to do his thing, man. But he's going up against Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler is fucking scary, dude. Michael Chandler is a compact motherfucker and powerful, dude. Just fucking powerful. He's a wrestler. So he's got core strength, he's got cardio, he has got explosive power in his punches and in his takedowns. He's got energy for fucking days. Michael Chandler is a goddamn Viking warrior. This is going to be a really awesome fucking fight, dude. Really awesome. It is hard to actually say I want one or the other guy to win. It's a very difficult thing because I enjoy both of them. Michael Chandler comes out of Bellator, as many of you probably know. His first fight, he just won by knockout a few months back against Daniel Hooker there at the UFC. And that was a hell of a way to come out and win. And against a tough opponent, too. And in a first-round knockout fashion, that was tits. But I got to tell you, man, this is a different fight. Hooker was scared. You could tell. You could just tell he was a little bit nervous against the hype that was Michael Chandler. Charles Oliveira has already been against the best in the world. He is not worried about Michael Chandler. This is my opinion. Once you've had that much experience, I think you just look at everybody the same. Or maybe, okay, this guy's an up-and-comer. I should be worried. It's not like... Listen, I'm not a fighter, so I'm just kind of talking out of my ass here, right? But I just... for me, Michael Chandler's wrestling ability is so interesting to me versus Charles Oliveira's ability on the ground jiu-jitsu style. I mean, they're both the top of their game and in their respective ground disciplines, but at the same time, man, I mean, just, Charles Oliveira is like a third-degree black belt. So even if Michael Chandler's on top, Charles Oliveira has the opportunity to wrap him up in any kind of fucking submission he wants, twist like a snake. These jiu-jitsu dudes, when they are on top of their shit, they just know how to snake in and out of a human body in such a way that it'll baffle your mind. They're still coming out with new fucking ways to put on moves and shit. Like, think about that. So, wrestling has always been a mainstay in mixed martial arts. It's a very powerful fucking fighting base to have. It's great for an all-around fighter. It really is. Wrestling is probably the best style to have as a base in mixed martial arts. You know, it really is. But I'm so excited. In this situation, I can see us getting a hell of a good fight with several highlights. I could see both of these guys getting hurt. I could see both of these guys testing the abilities because of the implications. If either one of them win, there's a title fight in the future. And Michael Chandler, he's hungry as fuck, man, and he's here to make a name. But Charles Oliveira, dude, he's been around the block, and he's been ready. And I think, I mean, after the streak he's on, and the last fight that he had, and the fact that he's still fighting again this year, just a couple of months later, and against a top-notch competitive fighter like Michael Chandler, both of these guys are staying active right now, to be honest with you. So it's really fucking ridiculous, because who knows? They're both fresh. They're both active. An active fighter is a good fighter, you know? So I don't know, man, but if I have to, I'm going to go with my hat on this one. I'm just going to go ahead and go with Charles Oliveira. I think his ability to keep the range and to keep Michael Chandler from getting in too close for them power hooks, I think he'll be able to do that. I know that the kicks are going to be a tough thing to do because Chandler will grab an ankle pick or something to that effect. He will fucking throw you on the ground. So it's going to be a lot of this, but Charles Oliveira has the reach, and he's got the patience. Michael Chandler's very stiff when he comes in, and he's so goddamn excited in the UFC, and it's his second fight, and they're putting him on the fast track, because, you know, the UFC loves to hype train a motherfucker. So I just think based on those aspects, we'll see Charles Oliveira pull out a victory. However, Michael Chandler is going to make sure that everybody knows who the fuck he is. Just make no bones about that. And a loss here is not going to catapult him backwards by any means. So I just, if I have to go anyway, I'm going Charles Oliveira on this one. I just would like to thank everybody for joining me here for this Addict MMA edition. I hope I put it together properly for you. This is my first editing deal that I've ever done where I edited the video down. I hope it didn't look too shitty for you. But definitely check it out. Tell your friends. Click subscribe, hit the little notification bell on the side so that you're always let known that I'm doing shit. Follow me on social media, Prodigal Bastard 941 on Instagram, Addict MMA 941 on Twitter, Derek Alford on Facebook. You can go ahead and friend request me. I don't give a shit. That's pretty much it. That's it for now. I don't have an email for any of you at the moment because I don't want to. There's so many fucking emails. I don't know which one to give you. So anyway, thank you for joining me. This has been Addict MMA.